That's the doctor there. An absolutely massive clinic here. I'm astonished that he's been sending me emails pretty much non-stop when I've asked questions about it. He told me when I was talking to him that I was famous Mr. Because I've been pestering him with so many emails on that famous. I must say, I find the Finnish version more. I think this goes the opposite way around. So they're very strict here on the face mask thing. Every single place I go, they constantly wanting me to put my face mask on. And now I guess it's another MRI, because the Finnish one didn't do, so they're gonna do a German one, and then we got it cost extra €300 for the MRI. What a joy! Now that I've visited a German MRI, it's the same Siemens machine that they use in Finland. The difference is, if anybody's interested, an MRI in Finland, they always have a radio station playing. You can't hear much, but still it's playing. And then the other thing is that Finland does not have a mirror in it. They have a mirror in a 45-degree angle from which you can see outside. Hello! So, this is what a German hospital room looks like. They're quite similar everywhere in the world. I had one, what do you call it, comrade in the room. But he's already taken home, and I'm the last one here. I need to be here for 2 hours. They'll observe me, and that I've got an IV going in. It's, I guess, half a litre of saline. The only problem is that I feel like peeing. Then I've got German hospital food, bagels, and a turkey sandwich, visible here, and some apple juice. So this is what I'm gonna have for dinner. Maybe I'll buy something from the hotel when I get there. But anyway, this story goes so that I was a bit late arriving here. We had agreed that I would be here 1 o'clock. I was here 1:30, or I got in contact with Mr. Vogel 1:30. And as soon as I talked to his secretary, and I paid, sent me to the MRI blazingly fast. Had my German clothes on, or my hospital clothes, which I put on the wrong way around. And when I went through the MRI, and then to the operating theatre, there's ginormous TV, must be 100 inches, or not inches, centimeters, 100 centimeters, a meter wide, and you could see the operation on the TV while it was ongoing, and they had some kind of weird ongoing röntgen or X-ray that filmed you all the time. The painful bit was when they went in from your groin Oh yeah, this I need to mention. I went into the operating theatre. There's 3 women there. You've got your gown on wrong way around. Turn it around, and then take off your underwear. Did that. Went onto the bed, and as soon as I got onto the bed, the gown came off, and they started spraying me with disinfectant. And I was there basically naked in front of these 3 women. Obviously they weren't phased, but I was this is a bit sudden. And then they put this kind of surgical cloth on me that is taped to your skin. And I was laid there for a minute. Then this Dr. Vogel came in, went in for my groin. I could see that thing going through my body, and he said that you've got weird lungs, and there must be something wrong with your lung. I don't know what he meant, but anyway, he got up to the left side and he said that you might feel something in your left side ear, or left hand side ear. And boy, did I feel, and it was pain, and it was like snap, crackle, pop, the cereal going in there when he was doing that. The pain on the left side, it was bearable. But then he moved, obviously, back to somewhere, and took a different route along my veins, and I came to the right side. This time, when he started operating, the pain was 10 times worse than on the left side, and I felt it in the top of my mouth. What is it? Kitalaki? What's that in English? Roof of my mouth. Maybe it's that. And then here, back of my ear. And when this pain came, something happened to me. I dozed off into some weird fantasy land. I was, seeing things, and it's kind of weird and confusing. I bet this is what you feel when you're under, drugs or something like that. And the end result was that the doctor then poked me. Are you all right? Are you all right? And I snapped out of it, and I was, yeah. But clearly I was disoriented. I didn't know where I was for a while. And after that, they took me out of the operating theatre. Said that great success. Well, obviously they say great success. What are they going to say? And left me out there for a minute, and then somebody else came and took me. Now I'm now on the operation was done in the basement. Obviously, all these because they're in the lower floor in Jorvi, and they're on the lower floor in Beijas, and they're on the lower floor here. So maybe it's a thing. You have your magnetic resonance MRI machines downstairs, but now I'm on the second floor, laid in a bed. There was a guy next to me, but he already left, and now I need to lay here for 2 hours, and then I get to go to the hotel. I'm hoping that nobody has stolen my bicycle. I have my bike out there, or I borrowed a bike from the hotel and I cycled here. But apart from that weird experience there, mid-operation, very efficient. I could never see Finnish people do this at this speed, or like this. So you go bang, 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 bang. You get the images, the doctor interprets them, and you go into the operation room. That's it, done. Obviously, he had already seen my Finnish MRI images, and he had idea of it, and I don't know why he took these. They cost me 300 euros here, which for an MRI image, I understand it's fairly cheap, but still. So altogether, this operation, 4,200 euros. I may have hinted I now took the cord from my microphone. The sound quality wasn't that good this time, so I'm not recording on the phone. I have the lavalier here, and I need to just watch the cord. So, tests were walking heel to toe, and this is not tremendously fast, but what I find positive is that I can do it, and the instabilities that I have, I can actually correct them when I feel that I'm falling, which didn't come into question previously. So basically the sensation that you're falling, I'm able to course correct and not actually fall. There was lifting my knees. So the right leg was previously, it was quite all right. And I think it still is. It could be better, I'm not saying that, but it's not completely useless. But then the left leg, and this is, it's not that good. And but it's been a similar day. I have taken the dog out and kind of sat down at my desk. So fairly similar activities. What else was there? Standing with my eyes closed. Can't spread my arms here, but when I close my eyes, I can feel my balance going, but then I'm actually able to maintain my kind of posture. I'm not keeling over. I wasn't that horrible in the first video, but now I feel that I'm clearly more stable. What else? Standing on one leg. My problem is to get my foot up. And then, but even here, well, that last one I couldn't correct. I was able to hold it all a bit longer than previously. And then the right leg. And this. It's unstable, but I'm able to keep it. What else was it? I was walking left, lifting legs, standing, then jumping. And I feel that, well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to do it and let's see what happens. But yeah, those are the tests. I feel that balance has improved, but my jumping ability hasn't improved a lot. And then I'm slightly more
sure on my feet. Because at some point before the operation, I was kind of feeling a bit. The only time when I felt comfortable was when I was sitting down. Now I actually feel fairly all right standing up, but I still can't stand for a long period of time, so my stamina isn't there. Yeah, let's go talk some more at my computer where I can sit down. So, what was missing of my travel kind of thing was that the procedure in itself, it didn't go maybe as the hospital had planned, because when they put me to the bed or to rest for 2 hours and gave me the bagel and stuff like that, the nurse, nothing bad to say about the nurse, she was very pleasant, and we had positive communications with her. There was actually one of the patients, the last one in the room before I was alone, he actually felt when he was getting out of the bed, and apparently typically that ward is used for patients recovering from chemotherapy, and the nurse thought that I had chemotherapy done to me, or I had received chemo, and this is the reason why she just let me go. So I took up my bike, cycled to the hotel. At the reception there's kind of this small counter of stuff that you can buy. I bought one beer and some kind of a sandwich, or not sandwich, a wraparound tortilla. I didn't eat it. It just somehow, when I got it up to the room, it didn't feel very appetizing, so I didn't eat it. But I had this beer that I bought, and I had there was these small airplane size bottles of red wine. I had that, and while consuming my, I have a Bounty, this chocolate bar, it seemed somehow familiar to me. I mean, it was something I've eaten in Finland, and I thought it would have more something edible or nutrients in it. I think it's filled with coconut. So I got this, and the secretary called, Dr. Vogel's secretary called. Why? Where are you? Did you already leave? And apparently what had happened is that, given that they're normally chemo patients and they get to go home straight away, the nurse thought that I had chemo done to me, and she didn't know that I had to go back to get a CAT scan on my veins to see if anything had bursted. So the nurse calls and agrees with me that I'll go there the next day. This then planted into my brain all kinds of horrible thoughts about what might have gone wrong, and since I was a bit sore from the operation, my groin was sore, and I could feel or maybe this call made I mentally was thinking about these problems that were blood gushing out of my veins, and everything was going horribly wrong. So I had a absolutely horrible night. Woke up early, borrowed a bicycle from Scandic again, cycled back to the hospital, had my CAT scan, which was very brief. I could wear all my clothes and stuff like that. I went in my civilian clothes into this CAT scan. And when it was done, I went up to meet Mr. Vogel, and then he said everything looks fine. And I now need to report in 2 months what my status is, which I will obviously do. Then basically the hotel room, it was only available until 2 o'clock. 12 o'clock, noon. And I had to check out, and I thought that I'd go to the airport. The Frankfurt is such a big airport, there must be a lounge that I can go and visit or do something meaningful than stay in the practically empty hotel. Went to the airport, and the Finnair counter, Finnair knew that I had a negative, or I had COVID. So they, in that sense, they didn't have to monitor me. But for 2 hours, the check-in counter only opened 2 hours before we boarded the plane, which meant that I was just stranded at the airport. There was one cafeteria open, horribly expensive, no real nice places to sit down or anything like that. And I was just idling away for like 6 hours at the airport. I obviously had to attend my school, so I had my earphones on, and I had my phone was connected to the Zoom class from Hanken. So I was kind of studying, but it was pretty pointless. Then flew or boarded the plane, got there, bottle of whiskey, bottle of wine. We had the wine yesterday, it was horrible tasting. Then bought myself some aftershave, some good smelling Boss. And then I got Jacob for the wife. She wanted, it was her birthday, and I was kind of going to go 2 weeks earlier. Got that. I pre-ordered, what do you call it? A piece of bread with cured salmon in it, and I took my time eating this, because when you're eating or drinking, you don't need to wear a mask. And I was eating this bread slowly. It took me nearly, over half of the way from Frankfurt to Helsinki. And and then when I got to the airport, we parked very nicely into Terminal 1, the airplane stopped there, and I was actually remember saying, thank you, Jesus, I don't need to walk that far. It's just a very brief from here to the taxis. No such luck. They drove a bus up to the plane. We exited from the rear, and the bus took us to this weird COVID terminal. And in this terminal, there was a guard, what do you call it, coming to say that we're in the practice of wearing masks here at the terminal. Said to him, no, I just spent 2 hours on a plane wearing this stupid thing. I am not wearing a mask. After that, we were in a queue. We came to a desk, and they were requesting that I would somehow either have a negative COVID test or take one. And I said, no, I'm not having it. I've had COVID, and I'm a Finnish citizen, and I'm going home. This is a police state that you're doing. It's rubbish what you're doing for a disease that doesn't kill anybody nearly. It's a flu. Well, I must admit I was fairly aggressive towards the personnel trying to get me to do this test. After that, I came home with an Iraqi taxi driver, and the only language we spoke was Finnish. And I asked, when did you come here? Obviously, it was foreign. I'm not saying that. When did you come here? He said 4 years ago, when the refugees came, but the guy, I think most of them, they're just elintasopakolainen. They were just coming here for better benefits. But this guy, he had immediately started learning Finnish, and he was a taxi driver. He was actually employed. So when we're just arriving at the end of the street, I said that personally, I want to tell you, welcome. You're the kind of people I don't mind, be it from anywhere from the world. If they come here and work, I'm fine with it. If you come here and just live off of our welfare system, yes, I do have a problem with that. But he, very positive attitude, and was very, how would I say, negative towards our government, who has just gone along with this COVID or China virus hoax. But yeah, then symptoms. Two things that come up out of this ballooning thing. The first one I discussed on the video, that I feel that I'm a bit more stable on my feet. I have a bit more balance, and kind of sudden turns and twists don't completely throw me off, so I'm able to stand a bit better. And the other one is a weird one, and this happening was one of the reasons why I actually went to have the CCSVI operation. Was your heart rate is like once a second or something like that, or at least mine is. It's about 60 maybe when resting. But I had in my left ear, it's some kind of a different circulation system, but the rhythm was like that, and I could hear it in my ear, especially at night when I was kind of taking it easy. But the operation has removed this weird sound from my ear completely, and which is a positive thing. Obviously, this wasn't a tremendously bad ailment of mine, but it was just one of these things that have been removed. But anyway, this video is horribly long. Regardless of my horrible condition and stuff like that, I must say that I'm thankful that I'm alive, and Jesus Christ is King. Amen.